يا هلا 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 حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program. This is Let's Talk with me, Julie Ali, and we're coming through to you live from our Sunning Hill studios right here in Johannesburg. And I sincerely hope that you're well rested. You had a wonderful Human Rights Day yesterday, and of course that you did some deep introspection and also making shukr, alhamdulillah, for the millions and millions of blessings in your life, inshallah. Thank you for joining me. You and I are going to be on the show till 10 o'clock this morning, and as always, lines will be open. And our guest this morning, we're going to be talking about a whole host of different things. We're looking at criminal records with Atiya Ali. We're also going to be talking Earth Hour with Ellen Davies, and then to Flux Trends or Trends for 2017 with Bronwyn Williams. All of that on the show, and of course we will be waiting to hear from you on our open lines. And if you call in, you walk away with one of our prizes, which is a sweet hamper from Broadway Sweets or a hair care hamper from Amka. So criminal records is what we're going to be talking about first on the show. Atiya Ali, no relation to me, but a lovely young lady nonetheless, is going to be talking to us about how you get rid of a criminal record on your name, or how you clear your name of any criminal activity. But that doesn't mean that you can go out and start involving yourself in criminal acts, thinking that there is a pillar or a support system that will help you clear it. No, it doesn't work that way. But let's hear just exactly how it works with dear sister Atiya Ali. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the program, and lovely to have you here.
Jazakallah, Julie, for having me.
Okay, you're a paralegal or a legal counselor.
Consultant.
And you're involved in clearing or helping people clear their names of any criminal records. But before even we get to that juncture, let's understand what's the difference between a criminal record and a criminal background check.
Okay. Julie, the criminal background check in essence is just a check. Most people undergo the criminal record checks when looking for employment, when looking to travel or applying for visas to travel to other countries. And a criminal record is where you've actually been arrested, charged and convicted. In essence, you've been found guilty. That is a criminal record.
Okay, who would conduct a criminal check? Let's assume I want to apply for a position, a job, or I want to perhaps travel overseas. Do I check up whether there is a red tick against my name, or would the visa authorities, the Department of Social Services, who would it be that would check that I am clear of any criminal activity or criminal records, and then give me the green stamp or the green tick of approval?
Julie, in terms of employment, it's usually the employment agencies or the companies contract, like your LexisNexis and your IME companies, to do the background checks. When it comes to visas for other countries, the person who is applying for the visa has to actually go and apply for what they call a police clearance certificate. That is a certificate to certify that you have no criminal record in your country before they approve your visa to travel.
I should imagine if you have a criminal record and you state on your application form to the country or the visa application that you do have a criminal record, be it 5, 10 or even 15 years old, that's going to impact on whether the visa is going to be issued or not.
Gee, but it would also depend on the country, because some countries ask for the clearance certificate and look at the severity of the crime. Remember, there's a difference between somebody who made a once-off mistake and somebody who's an habitual criminal. But countries are getting, as well as companies, are becoming more and more stricter with a sort of zero tolerance for any criminal activity. So whether you have a once-off conviction against your name or you've got multiple convictions against your name, it would just depend on the company, or it would depend on the country, how they're going to treat it. But most countries now are becoming stricter, and they've got a zero tolerance. So it becomes very difficult for you to travel, to find employment, to study, to adopt. And there are certain things that you could have done 3 years ago with a criminal record that you can no longer do. For example, the PDP, you know, the permits that the public driver's permits, the truck drivers and the taxi drivers, they could renew it with having a criminal record. And now new law has been installed 2 years ago that disallows them. They cannot get their PDPs for as long as they've got a criminal record, irrespective of what the offense was.
Oh, that worries me. Can you imagine how many unlicensed drivers there are on the roads?
Gee. And can you imagine if you've been doing something for 20 years and now all of a sudden you've been told, no, you've got this thing against your name and we refuse to renew your PDP. It's quite a stressful situation to find yourself in.
I'm sure. Now, how does a young, lovely lady like yourself, a paralegal, get involved in something like this? What made you realize that there's possibly a gap in the market, number one, and that you can assist the public to kind of get their lives back on track? Because as you've indicated, with a criminal record, depending also obviously on the type of offence you were involved in, it's going to hamper progress in very many areas of your life.
Julie, when it comes to criminal records, there's a stigma around it. People see criminals as bad people. But because of my background experience working at the Department of Justice and interacting with so many different people, I can say that that is not true. Not all of them are the same.
We all make mistakes in life, don't we?
Everybody's got a backstory. Everybody's got a reason that they find themselves in this situation. And remember, before we are anything else, before we are black, white, Indian colored, we're human. And because of that condition, sometimes we make mistakes. You get some people who just have criminal intent, who are just that way.
They're bad people. Just bad people.
Bad people. But that's why we've also started the initiative about rehabilitating them. So it's not just about helping the client to remove their criminal record. It's about ensuring that the criminal record stays clear by informing them of the repercussions, informing them of, the certain things that you would be excluded from if you have a criminal record. So by educating people sort of all the things that a criminal record can hinder you from, we sort of steer our clients. We don't only clear their criminal records, we try to ensure that they remain clear. And the thing is, Julie, in my line of work, I've met so many different people. You can get a criminal record by making a mistake, or you can get a criminal record by being influenced, socioeconomic circumstances. There are many things that can lead you to that. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of South Africans have been victims of violent crimes, and we've got now sort of a one-track mind. When you see criminal, we think automatically that's a bad person. But I'll give you also a typical example, Julie. I had a client, a big businessman, who was shopping one day, and he was shopping in one of the big retail supermarkets, and as he was walking with his trolley, he intended to buy a box of grapes. So from the box, he had began to eat 2 or 3 grapes, and he was walking through the aisles and shopping.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
I do it with my kids as well. When they're naggy for something, with the intention that when I get to the till, I'm just going to scan it, and they're going to pay for it. Exactly. So that was his intention. And he's a big businessman. So he was walking along, and he got a call. And he had to leave then. He had to leave whatever he was doing. His trolley. Right, and he had to just get out of there and attend to what he needed to attend to, because it was quite urgent. When he got to the doors, not even thinking, okay, I ate 3 or 4 grapes from the box. When he got to the doors, the security guard stopped him and said, listen, you need to come with me to the office. He said, what is the problem? He said, no, you need to follow me to the office. He got to the office, and they showed him the camera footage of him eating the grapes. He said, listen, I'm so sorry. It was not my intention. Let me pay for the box. I just really need to go. They said, no, sir. That's not how it works. They called the police. They had him arrested. He was arrested. He called his lawyer. He said, listen, I need you to sort this out now. So the lawyer came, paid an admission of guilt fine, and told him, you know what, you're free to go. But nobody had told him that paying an admission of guilt fine would result in you having a criminal record. And that's what he's got now.
This despite the fact that you don't appear in court.
Yes. He paid an admission of guilt fine at the police station, and he was released. You don't have to go to court to have a criminal record.
All right.
Julie.
This would obviously refer to old traffic fines as well.
As well, G.
And a whole host of petty misdemeanors, which could then result in you having a criminal record.
G, that is correct.
Okay. How did you get involved in this type of work? I know you're a paralegal,
G.
but what made you decide that this is the route I want to go? And are there many other creatures like yourself out there doing this type of work?
G. Julie, in the beginning, like I said, I was sort of thrown in it. I applied for a job as an intern. I qualified as a paralegal, applied for a job as an intern at the Department of Justice, where I worked with the political prisoners. Those were the people that were left out of the TRC commission. They had to now make a full disclosure. These are people that are still in prison, had to make a full disclosure of their offenses. They sent pictures and descriptions and sort of described all their offenses, and it intrigued me. I wanted to know about it. I wanted to get to know these people. What drove you? It was that type of thing. And as I worked there for 8 years, and I got involved in the expungements as well. And I like interacting with people. I like to hear their background stories. I want to know where do you come from? How did you sort of commit the offense? What is it that drove you to that point? You'd be amazed at the people that I've befriended. I've got a guy who always helps me with parking. He's one of these parking attendants. I think he sleeps on the street. But he speaks to me with the utmost respect. Hello, my sister, how are you? He always sees to it that I get a parking when I'm going to do my work. And the one day, my husband actually started a discussion with him that, how did you end up here? And he said, I used to hijack people. That was how I earned my living. I used to hijack people. And I started taking drugs, and I got to the point where the gang I was with started killing people, and I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. So it drove me to taking drugs. I left my home. I'd rather sleep on the streets and help people park their cars. But there's something about him, Julie, that I see. If given half a chance, somebody gives him a chance, cleans him up, he can make something of his life. Sometimes the circumstances we find ourselves in just sort of push us on the wrong track, and all we need is somebody to say, listen, I can help you. Let's remove the criminal record, make sure that it stays clear, and give you back your life, because that's what it's about.
It's not only about giving back the people's life, giving back someone's life, it's also giving them dignity.
Gee, and there's a lot of people that it will affect, you know, the family members, especially when you have somebody who's supposed to be a breadwinner who can't find a job because of a criminal record. It doesn't only affect one person. You find a family of 10 people being affected by one stupid decision.
All right, let's take an ad break. We'll be back with you in a minute or two. I'm talking to Atiya Ali. She's a paralegal, and she's talking to us about how she can help you get rid of a criminal record on your name. It could be something as innocuous as an unpaid traffic fine. And if you have that criminal record, obviously it's going to deter you from even perhaps getting a visa, traveling overseas, getting credit at a company, or even trying to get a job. So all of that and more coming up after the ad break.